It's Friday. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that it's Friday. I can't begin to understand how wonderful it is. Hello, Dana. How are you?
Hi, David. I'm good. How are you?
A little behind the scenes for those of you watching us. Yes, Dana just arrived in the studio like 30 seconds ago to freak me out on a Friday.
Gosh,
Our
David,
guest, I've been talking to our
I'm
guest.
always going to be here.
I've been talking to our guest for the past 8 minutes, so that's okay. I'm used to it. I know you've never let me down. I know that. I have to have more faith, but I will always freak out.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I was here. I was sitting right here. I was just on Zoom
Right.
instead of on StreamYard, which is where we are right now.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this fabulous panelist of professional moms, and it was just really engaging. So I had to get the last little bit out of it. David.
Oh, well.
Sorry to stress you out, but I am so excited to be
I'm
here
excited.
in
A great show
real
today.
capacity now.
Excellent. Well, I actually had a really horrific Zoom meeting yesterday with a group of people
I know about this.
who shall remain nameless. I will not get into it, but I ended up leaving the group because of it. That's how bad it was. It was, okay, see if I can do this on my computer here. This was
You
one.
need to see it for what it is.
This is one of the people.
Yes, that you were getting some of these. Can you see me?
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay, that's what it was like. And then the people that just have to hear themselves speak. I think it was ridiculous. But anyway, it's Friday. Yes.
Well, you have to tell them, for anyone and everyone who has not seen the Saturday Night Live spoof on the Zoom call, it's definitely worth watching. Preferably have a drink of beer or wine, but that helps just increase the humor. But it will definitely have you crying.
Definitely. We just lost our guest. I can see that she's just grayed out.
Oh no.
There she is. Oh, she's well, it is Friday, and I'm so happy. We've got some great things going on today. We have Tracy Sihle from Sihle Insurance is going to be with us. Definitely our go-to homeowners insurance and kind of insurance person. She helped me with my health insurance, and she's going to be here. And then we're going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. But let's get Tracy in on the deal here. Woo-hoo! Tracy is home. She's got that behind there.
Are you at home right now?
I am.
Okay, I usually don't I'm like, oh, we're all from home, but those doors are gorgeous.
David just mentioned
a wine cellar. I made her show me earlier.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those are beautiful. Those are beautiful.
Cool. Yeah,
it's got white wine on top and red on the bottom. I've already seen the side of it.
Gotta have wine in quarantine, right?
Yeah. Tracy, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. We actually were out to see you about a month or so ago, and you've been such a great supporter of ours. We wanted to have you on the show and say thank you for everything. She's helped us out with our Isha Shields events. Has a beautiful building out there. Is it Longwood or is it's Longwood, right?
It's Altamont Springs.
Oh, Altamont Springs.
Right on the cusp of Altamont and Longwood, kind of as far as I know. And beautiful building out there, which she lets realtors and real estate companies and others use. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So it's a big supporter of our industry, and we like to support those that support us. So we're going to talk to you a little bit today. We had a few questions. The one I was going to ask you, and then I'm sure Dana has some as well. I've noticed, and maybe you have too, Dana, that real estate, the cost of insurance has gone up, and I know a lot of people are actually their insurance is getting dropped. And I was wondering if you could kind of fill us in on what's going on with insurance in general right now and what's causing these changes.
Sure, that's a great question. I was just talking to the head of our new business team, Katina, about it, because I'm always getting updates from her. It's a lot of things kind of taking place here. One of the things is, we had hurricanes coming through last year, Hurricane Irma, I believe, that caused a lot of, damage and whatnot. So after that happened, the carriers started getting a little more stringent on what they're going to cover and what they're not going to cover. And some of them literally we had one that went bankrupt and completely, yeah. So that one caused a lot of grief to a lot of insurance agencies because then they had to scramble and find another insurance carrier. Another reason, and it's mainly in Seminole and Orange County, is assignment of benefits. So what's happening is roofers and other people are coming in and they're getting the homeowners to sign over assignment of benefits. Assignment of benefits is basically an agreement that transfers the insurance claims, rights, or benefits of the policy to a third party. So the assignment of benefits gives that third party, such as a roofing company, authority to file a claim, make repair decisions, and collect insurance payments. Well, what was happening was a lot of these roofing companies were going in and giving these very high estimates, way more than it should have been, causing the insurance carriers to pay way more than they should have, or maybe none at all, you know. So there's a lot of fraud going on with the roofing companies, and that has actually caused a handful of our 30 plus carriers to not even want to insure Seminole and Orange County right now. Now, the good news is we still have some that will do it, but the rates have gone up for that reason. That's one of the main reasons is there's just a lot of fraud going on, especially when you have these hurricanes or a windstorm coming through and they cause a lot of damage. You just get someone knocking on your door and they get you to sign that assignment. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you know someone that's happened to, and that's the main reason for the hike. They're getting really strict also on what they will insure anymore. So one of the big topics we've been talking about in our newsletters is the age of roof. So, you know, most of the carriers would accept 15 to 18-year roofs. Now there are some that will only take up to 10 years.
What?
So imagine, yeah, 10 years, which is nothing. And this is for architectural shingle. Don't get confused with, you know, the barrel tile. The barrel tile is usually 30 years plus, but for architectural shingle, 10 years, some of them.
But they have a 25-year, don't they have a 25-year guarantee on them? How is that
Some,
even
yeah, and what they'll do is they will actually mail you a letter and say you're either canceled, you have to go find insurance somewhere else, or you have so many days to repair or replace the roof, basically.
After 10 years.
After 10 years. And so basically they have to scramble to find insurance somewhere else. The good news is, and I preach this a lot, we have a carrier that will insure any age roof as long as there's no water damage, leaks, or damage. The only negative to this carrier, being completely honest, is a lot of times they will exclude water coverage. So you're getting, you know, coverage on a roof, but you're kind of getting excluded by water. So it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, you'll get the insurance, but it's gonna, you know, exclude water, which is pretty important. But I think it's nice because it buys the homeowner time to save money to replace a whole new roof. So
that's dumbfounding to me that that's illegal. I mean, it isn't. I know you guys have a lot of regulations like we do, but that doesn't seem illegal. I mean,
don't you just love insurance agencies? I'm just kidding.
I love yours. I mean, you helped us with our health. You do more than just home insurance. You do.
Well, the good news.
You do. Don't you do auto and healthcare as well?
Yeah, we do everything. We do business, auto, health, life, home. We do everything. 46 years, family owned. But the good news is we have so many carriers, we typically can get the job done. But, you know, I really feel bad for some of these smaller agencies that only have a handful of carriers. They're just dying. And like State Farm, I keep getting calls every week that their rates keep increasing. I had one guy, he was not happy. He was actually a realtor. I guess they had told him to get a wind mitigation inspection on his existing house, which was built in 91. He had never replaced the roof, so he went and got it, and he never really needed it. And then he ended up getting a higher rate after that. So they actually charged him more money. So he called me. He was not happy at all. And I said, yeah, they should have never had you spend money on a wind mitigation inspection because you never want to get that unless you have a newer roof on an older home. Typically. So my guideline is typically if the home is older than, let's say, 2001, but the roof is newer than 2004, you want to get that wind mitigation inspection because you will save money. But our agents are trained to tell the clients when to get that. But, you know, it's just little things like that that go a long way to saving you money, you know?
Yeah. Well, another thing I know you guys specialize in, and why I think I ended up with you guys in the first place a while ago. There we go. was
you put me off, but I was writing a note. That was a good point.
Oh no,
I didn't.
I didn't want to see you writing it up.
So roof house older than 01, roof newer than 04. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense doing a wind mitigation on a house from 2012. I mean, 2012. Yeah, no. 2012.
It's a waste of money. Yeah.
Woo! So one of the things that I know you guys are also really good about is these houses. For those of you listening, there are houses that were built between the late 80s and late 90s that had polybutylene plumbing that a lot of insurance carriers won't cover it unless you replace it, which is what can really blow up a lot of deals, especially like in the Dr. Phillips area. We have a lot of those homes. A few, excuse me, a few here in Ocoee. That's a big problem. Aluminum wiring is a big problem. And what's the other one? The circuit breaker panels. Now that, you know, I know that you can get insurance for that, but I don't think for Federal Pacific panels, I really, having had one in a investment home, when they pulled that thing out, they pulled it out and you could see the connectors that are supposed to trip like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were you could just see where they were just worn down, sparked out, arced out. I'm thinking, that I don't want in my house. But polybutylene, I think it's a crock that somebody has to have an entire house replumbed just because when it's working perfectly fine. I mean, mind you.
Well, yeah, they just had some that burst without warning, and so that caused a class action suit years ago. They closed it, but I'll tell you what, my parents, they had built a new house years ago, within 5 years, they had their pipes burst. And I had polybutylene plumbing in a Winter Park house, and I had no issue. But, you know, the buyers did want me to change it out before buying the house. So,
well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to try and get them to do that. So,
yeah. Yeah, so we have carriers that will insure the polybutylene plumbing. That's the good news. And I think it's about 3 or 4 of them out of our 30 that will insure polybutylene plumbing. The only thing is it will limit water coverage. Usually it's up to $10,000. But still, and then we have the option, if you do want to change it out within 30 days after closing, we can shop it with more carriers and it can be cheaper. So I always get the question, is it cheaper to keep the polybutylene plumbing or is it cheaper to switch it out? I get that all the time. And actually the answer is, it could be actually the same price, or it could be up to 30% more. And the reason being is there's so many factors that go into insuring a house and getting the quote. What's the age of the roof? What's the materials being put into the house? Does the home buyer have a bankruptcy or a prior claim? So there's a lot of factors that go into that quote that determine the price. And typically the polybutylene doesn't really affect the price. It just limits the number of carriers that we can shop from. So from 30 carriers, we only have about 3 or 4 that we can shop from. So
that's really what I wanted to emphasize with you, Tracy. And, you know, the 2 things that I appreciate most about Sihle Insurance is the fact that you guys do have a lot of choice. And in that, you know, kind of paired with the fact that you're so knowledgeable, your agents are so knowledgeable that it really, when the consumer comes to you and says, okay, here's what we have, you know, and some of it's good and some of it's bad and some of it may be a little ugly. When you take all of it together, you know, you guys usually have at least 1 to 3 carriers that you can shop those rates with, which unfortunately is just, you know, it's certainly not going to be an option going to like a State Farm or an Allstate, because, you know, I mean, that's just a one-stop shop. I am always telling our agents, you know, really, I so much believe in insurance brokers, because you've got to have the companies out there that you can reach out to. So
yeah, and they have to be ethical. That's like the most important, because we see this a lot where people are just underinsuring the client. You know, everyone loves a cheap quote, but they don't love it when they have a claim and they're not covered. So we can get as skinny as anyone else. and as cheap as anyone else. And I think we do have competitive rates, but
oops, froze up there.
We make sure they're covered properly. And you know what? If they're shopping around their existing policy and they already have a great rate that we can't beat, we're going to be honest and tell them, hey, you know what? Stick with where you're at. That's a great carrier. You're in a good place right now. So that's just kind of how we're different.
I think
you told my last client that. You honestly told my last client that I sent over to you. They was like, wow, I'm pretty impressed with that policy. They were like, you need to stick there until they cancel you and then just come over here.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what else I had to say to it because there's just so much. I mean, it's kind of like who we had on yesterday. We had a few people on that have just been so great to talk to regarding this information. So I think we're very lucky, Dana, to have at our pretty much beck and call these wonderful vendors in our office, and it's a very reciprocal relationship. So, well, Tracy, we thank you so much for everything. I did happen to get your commercial from you guys, so we're gonna say goodbye to you. Dana and I are gonna take it home, but have a great weekend and open up that cabinet behind you. You've earned it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, David. They're the ones that always give us wine. Aren't you the ones that always give us wine?
Yeah, we'll be starting that
wine with everyone and chocolate.
Yes. Yes. So
let us know. We'll bring anyone out there. If you want wine and chocolate from Sihle Insurance, just tell us. We'll go get one from Tracy and bring it to you.
Aw, thank you guys.
Thank you, Tracy. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff to get you guys. Holy moly.
I know, that's so great, but it's like a one-stop shop, and you get the person that you have a relationship over there, and they can quote you everything. And I just love that they're family owned and grown that business from the bottom up, and that's awesome. And like you said, they're super supportive of us in not only all of our business and helping our clients, but in our in doing our philanthropy stuff as well.
We have philanthropy. We did hear from Easter Seals today, and I let them know our plans for this year have changed a little bit, but we are still sponsoring the whatever it's the what it's called?
Take the Challenge.
The Take the Challenge 2020. We are the official sponsor for that, and we are going to be supporting them as much as we possibly can. It's an interesting year for charity work, I would imagine. We normally do a big fundraiser, but that raises about $25K. I just can't see us. I don't think it's responsible is the word, but it's just a lot. With everything going on, it just doesn't seem like the right thing for us to do. We need to be supporting some more extremely local and other things. But
yeah,
I love everybody. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing. And so we decided that we are still going to very much support Easter Seals and do it with their run walk out at their facilities. And I'm sure, fingers crossed, God willing, everything will be getting back to normal end of this year into next year, and we'll be able to go right back at it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been super supportive of us as well. I love doing it. We have a great time here. It's just, it was we had to take a break this year, but we're still going to be working with a lot of different things. So what else you got going on this weekend, Dana? You said changing the subject.
It's Mother's Day.
Oh, is it Mother's Day?
It's all about me.
Oh, I haven't seen my mom since this whole thing started. I've seen her on FaceTime.
Are you going to go up there and at least say Happy Mother's Day from the road?
This is my mom. That's my dad on Facebook. My dad's pretty good. My mom is more like, honey, where do I look?
David, you must go you need to go social distance from your mom.
Well, tonight I'm making pork schnitzel. With
that sounds really good.
Josh wants to have pork schnitzel with mashed potatoes, and I might make some sauerkraut to go with it because you got to have that.
Sauerkraut, or I was going to say red cabbage. That is just calling.
Fried cabbage. You ever had fried cabbage before?
I love red cabbage with schnitzel.
Have you been to Hollerbach?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
That's right. You went there with us, didn't you? No, wait. Did we go
we've been there many times.
Before we went to Theater West End or whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, see, Merle's parents, Merle's dad was military police with the Army, and they lived in Germany for about 3 or 4 years. Merle's like middle school to early high school. And so German food, they got really used to German food. So we found that place. And that's, we always call his parents and say, okay, you got to check this place out. Oh, they loved it.
I'm worried about places like that with all this change,
I know.
Tomatoes, all the sweet tomatoes are closed. They're gone. They're closing up shop. That makes me sad. That's a great, healthy restaurant. And of course, it's all buffet. So, and I'm all of the, and we're leaving a positive note, I promise. That all the buffets at like these conventions and things like the things that I perform at, they're no more buffets. And that's a majority. I mean, a lot of banquet workers at Disney and Universal and the hotels. It's a little bit scary. I have mixed feelings on all of that. I mean, it's certainly, you can find your ways around it, but there's going to be some big changes. So that's for.
I'm just seeing what's going through our feed here. I'm going to do a shout out to one of my very best friends in the whole world coming to us from the DC area, and that'd be Miss Angie Dunn. Hey, girl.
Hey, Angie.
It was Angie's birthday on Wednesday. We had fun doing a little Zoom call. But Michelle Gladding is asking us to post Tracy's info. Do you have Tracy's phone? Do you have that on your little thing, David?
Hold on a second. Tracy's right here.
Oh, Tracy.
Tracy, what's your phone number?
Oh, volume.
Yeah. Hold on.
Hold on, I'll unmute her.
Sorry.
Oh. Yeah. Oh. What's your phone number, Tracy?
They can call me at my cell any time of the week, 407-421-0424.
Awesome.
Okay.
You were right. You told me that guy would be fast on getting that commercial. So, all right, we'll see it. Anyway, trying to think of what else. So, yeah, we're gonna do that tonight, and tomorrow I'm gonna make some flat meat steak, which is gonna be marinated, and I'm just gonna be a cooking fool this weekend. But I will try and see my mom and dad. Scott's been saying, even if we meet them halfway and just wave at them, I'm like.
Exactly, David. No,
I want to go up and see them in person.
Yes,
Although I do. We were talking. You mentioned. I think this is important. Maybe you can elaborate on it. The location. If people want to go get tested, you said Merle and Baylor got tested for the antibodies to COVID-19.
Yeah, and I actually thought that they got it done at the Cooper Memorial Library, but they did not. I think my girlfriend had hers done there, so I'm not sure if that location is still working. But in Claremont, off of 27, at the rec center there, it's south of 50, but right off of 27, the rec center there is doing tests for the antibodies. And Merle and Baylor, hopefully getting their email with their results.
Well, I talked to, as we've been telling everybody, this is the time you reach out to past clients and all that. I saw a post on Facebook from Sarah Enos. Is that Scout? From Sarah Enos. And it was a post from her mom and dad, who were, gosh, in their mid-70s or something like that, who were on vacation here from New Jersey in the Vero Beach area. Both of them developed COVID-19 and have been in the hospital for 52 days, on the ventilator for 20 plus days. But I'm getting the positive thing is, when you talk about people that go through this test and they come out having already had the virus, their plasma is now able to help heal these other people. And it was like, they said it was like fighting tooth and nail to get their mom and dad to have these. I guess they had some relatives, very close relatives, either children or nieces and nephews, that donated their plasma after they had gone through COVID-19, and miraculously they came through it all. I mean, once you've heard it, once you're on that ventilator, there are some really strong chances you might not come back.
Yeah.
They both
were on the ventilator?
Both of them were on the ventilator for a minimum of 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and they came through it, though, and they just took their flight home. They're lucky. I mean, they're people with means that sometimes they get better treatment than others, just because of their status. But these folks, had they been in New Jersey, where they're from, they probably wouldn't have made it because of the level of. Yeah, they were in. I want to Port Orange is where I want to say for you, but that's not where it was. It's near Vero Beach, and
or south. I don't.
Yeah, it was south. It wasn't north, but or east. It was just. Yeah, so I talked to her for a good while today, but on the flip side, she says, "Well, it's funny. You should call me. I'm looking to do this, and this." I'm like, awesome. You don't push it. You just talk about. You be yourself, and you talk to people, and they will tell you what they want. So
they will. Well, thank God her parents are doing better and on the upswing. So
that would have been a very down phone call. So it was
hard because I mean, for a majority of us, and hopefully I stay in that category, we're going to be fine. But when you're not, it doesn't matter that it's only a small percent of the population. If it's you or your loved ones, it's your whole world. And we know that with our dear friend who is finally home.
Oh, good.
And has miraculously made it through the stroke that she had and the seizures with very little damage. But just the fear that, she's still at risk and still healing from that. And the healing's going to take a while. So be careful, folks. Just be careful as we come out, obviously it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act for us as people. It's a balancing act for our leaders who are making decisions and trying to lead us. But, we were given a brain and we were given the ability to make our own decisions for a reason. And that is, we need to be smart. We need to be cautious. We need to stay positive. And try and do what we can to be responsible at this time.
I know what I was going to tell you. You were talking about all this German food. There is a great show on Amazon Prime called Man in the High Castle. Have you seen this?
Not Man in the High Castle. It's not a food show.
What's that?
Is it a food show?
No.
Okay, it's like I got a feeling it was like
okay, just so picture it.
Historic?
Follow me. Imagine World War II.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was not time frame.
We don't win. The Japanese take the west coast of San Francisco, that whole western seaboard, and the Nazis take over the eastern seaboard all the way over to about the Rocky Mountains. And in the Rocky Mountains, between that in San Francisco, the West Coast, there's the neutral zone, which we don't really know what that is in the show because I'm only in, but it's basically Hitler stays alive and the Reich takes over, and they're, cleansing. It's horrible, but I mean, it's cleansing the people of, certain races. And if you have an incurable disease, like there's a character that has the equivalent of muscular dystrophy and is showing early symptoms, and it's the son of this really high up Nazi guy who used to be an American, but then he joined the Nazi Reich, and he has to, basically the doctor says, well, here, take this, and it's a little too vial, and he says, you have to give your son this shot and kill him. That's how it is. But the main part of it is really about, it's not, that's a minor part. The bigger part is that there are these films that are passed around, and they're historic reels, like the old black and white newsreels, but the newsreels show a different alternate history. Like one shows the Americans winning the war, and you go, what in the world? And it kind of turns from this if we lost the war to that you realize it's in a parallel universe kind of thing. So it's a little bit, it's kind of crazy and wonderful.
Ooh, you're definitely piqued my interest though.
Yeah, it's funny. Scott wanted to watch it a while ago, and I said, oh, I watched the first episode. I don't like this. And then now we've been binging it every night, about 3 or 4 episodes. So
that's like Merle may definitely be into that. I think so. I am waiting with bated breath for my Handmaid's Tale back.
Can't get into it.
It's like heart-wrenching and empowering all at the same time. And it's definitely, to me, it's like it gets me going for women power. You know how that's important to me, David.
I do. And you know what else is important to you?
What?
This.
We get to dance out?
Can I dance? All right. Hey, I'll see you on Monday. I can't wait for you to have your computer here, and you'll be here right at 9 a.m.
I will. And we will be
I'm telling all of the Facebook world. She promised me she'd be here at 9.
I will.
With on. So with that in mind, we are going to say goodbye and dance it out. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. And
have a great weekend, folks. Love you.